Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to IRL Season 9, F1 Tier, round number 1 at Australia. It's a new season, and we are pumped to see how the season goes. Will Matthew win a championship quite dominantly like last season, or will somebody able to challenge him this year? As I am your commentator, IRL Neon, or as Jared Fosbury, I've been joined in the comments booth with Kevin Harrison, or as Aspect.
Hello, and of course, nice introduction there. Australia being round 1. Not the easiest track to be overtaking on. Best opportunities going into turn 1 and turn 3. And then there is also another opportunity with DRS straight in sector 3 at the exit of turn 12 if you get a good exit. So, yeah, maybe not too optimistic for overtakes, but we did obviously see in FP, Brandon and Ollie have an amazing fight for the lead, so it is possible to have some good fights around here. So yeah, hopefully we get more of the same today, especially being F1 tier.
Well, yeah, I agree with that, and well, we might as well go through some of the drivers' changes from last season then. Matthew then moved from AlphaTauri to Racing Point this year with Mr. Rocco Welsh. There was rumours that he was actually meant to be teammates with Cameron again, but unfortunately that fell through. So his teammates with Rocco this season, and it looks like his teammate will be here compared to last season. It looks like they are going to be very hard to beat in the Constructors' fight. The drivers, on the other hand, obviously it'll be Matthew favourite to win it, as he's been 3-time champion. So it will even be a 4th, as right now Rocco will be the first one to begin his flying lap. And also, if you didn't check it last week on Wednesday, or this week on Wednesday, FP tier, we saw a great race there in Australia where it was actually wet conditions to dry. I wonder if we're going to have the same conditions in the race, as Rocco then begins his flying lap around the final corner. He goes. DRS activated then, down the straight.
Yeah, you covered the start. I'm going to get this tweet up now. So
okay then, as he's coming into turn 1 there, nice and tight there into 5th gear, gets really close to the curbs. Nice and tight there from Rocco through turn 1 and 2. Now approaching turn 3, down the straight he goes. Sticking in 7th gear, goes into 2nd, a bit of a lock up down the right front. Maybe this is going to be his bank, of course, so he ain't going to be going full out on his pace yet, but he has been practicing a lot to see what he can do. As he's now entering sector 1 then, and he does a 26.2 right now. Another lock up on the right front of the tyre. He's really trying to get this car nailed on the track right now, trying to get a decent banker lap so he can smash it on his final run. Good evening, Luke Baker, hello Tom Joe, and hello Tim. As right now then, we're still on board with Rocco then, who's now approaching sector 2 now. And there we go, 47.8 in sector 2, now he's in sector 3 there, into the turn 11 and 12, where turn 12 we might see a few people losing it and hitting the wall probably, as he's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. That is a Williams, which is Ryan. Ryan needs to get out of the way, because if he doesn't, and that is a late move to get out of the way there, that could probably affect Rocco's lap. Matthews needs to get out of the way as well, but he's just about to start a lap, so, and Rocco there backed off and has gone into the pit lane as he's invalidated actually somehow, so that's a shame for him. I didn't realise actually invalidated. Well, that's a shame there for Rocco, as we'll go aboard with Spreen, who set the new fastest lap, or provisional, a 1:19.695. He will be happy with that. As Brandon there, disappointing, 21.1 now on medium tyres. Not like him, I'm expecting 19s at least from Brandon. As we'll go on board with Lewis Curtis, currently on lap right now, as Thomas goes a 19 flat on soft tyres right now, as Pedro just beats that lap with an 18.9. So lap times are getting quicker now, we are in the 18s. As Lewis Curtis then, he locks up on the right front, he is Cameron Young's teammate. And they're also teammates in FP, and actually Cameron and him came to blows apparently at one point. So hopefully they don't come to blows today. As you can see that, Lewis really fighting the car through turn 11 and 12. DRS activated. Through 13 now, nice tidy exit. Will he invalidate like Rocco? Lewis Curtis does have the bottle under his name, as he usually bottles his races. Let's see that he doesn't do it today, as he's now approaching the final 2 corners. Round the last corner, avoids the curb altogether, hits the exit curb, DRS activated, avoids the grass. Matthew sets new fast lap, 18.7. But what about Lewis Curtis? He does an 18.9, goes 3rd quickest. Matthew is currently the provisional leader in 1st place, but will Cameron have anything to answer for him, as he's currently in 5th place with 19.3. As Machine, I believe that is Fishy Chef Fox, I believe. He's currently in 11th. And will be peeling into the pits. as Humongous then in 11th. He wanted to go in the F1 tier last season, won those 2 tiers on the weekend, on the Saturday, and then he eventually got put in as the tiers merged, and now he's here for the full season. As let's see what Humongous can do then in the Williams, as his teammates with Ryan, the former F2 champion from season 7. So let's see what Joey can do. And he got 8th place currently with a 119.688. So Brandon's the only person on medium tyres. Ollie Favell there in 10th with 19.8 as he peels into the pits. That's BRT Tiger, 16th place currently. I do have his name down somewhere. I will remember it. Right now, let's see what he can do then in the McLaren. Currently 16th on the lap time set. Let's see what he can do. And he goes 10th quickest with a 19.708. He will be happy with that lap time, as he's currently in midfield at the moment. So we have 17 today, which is a great turnout compared to last season. Rocco then on another flying lap. Let's see what he can do then.
And the tweet is up.
Oh, that's good then, Kevin, as I did notice that. As Rocco is partly purple in sector 1, as he got some momentum to actually challenge Matthew Alder. He had some pace last season with Nino. Unfortunately, he can't make it today, as apparently he might have injured his hand, possible breakage or something. Hopefully he does get better. However, Rocco then in sector 2, purple again, 47.4. Sometimes these sectors going purple can be a lie. Nails turn 11 and 12. Nice tie there. DRS activated now. See what he can do then in the final couple of corners here. We're approaching the corner where he made a mistake. He ran too much wide and invalidated. He keeps it on track this time. Coming into the second to last corner, a bit of a lock up on both tyres. Now in the final corner, had to lift off a little bit there to get the turn in. DRS activated then down the straight. Let's see what time he will do in the racing point. And he's 4th quickest with an 18.991. Good lap there from Rocco.
Indeed, an 18.9, of course, 2/10 off Matthew. Matthew probably can go quicker. I mean, he's proven to step up on his last lap and pull something completely out of the bag. He doesn't really need to right now, by the looks of it, being 2/10 ahead of second place, or at least almost 2/10, but won't stop him from going quicker. I'm sure you can probably maybe get a 0.4. It's going to be very very difficult, I think, but he can probably do it.
That's probably true then. And just to make sure everyone's clear, the person in 11th place is actually Nicholas. As I always call him Tiger since I didn't know his name, but now I do. His name is Nicholas, currently in 11th. As Spreen is actually about to finish his lap. He's just ended in sector 2 now, in sector 3 into the turn 11 12. Kevin, if you want to. Oh, and he's actually about dead. Oh.
And that's kind of how it is. I remember last season we got a lot of this where like, oh, this person's on that, and he's about.
Well, Felix actually on the lap now.
If I did pick up Felix there, he's coming into turn 3 now, down to second gear, and you want a short shift up to third and then fourth, back to third, and then fourth again, to bring you up to turn 5 and now 6. You gotta really clobber that curb and take a good bit of the exit curbs as well to maximize your the track you're using and therefore your lap time. Very similar with this, you want to get right up on the curb to maximize your exit, as he's going slowly now.
He's backed off.
All of a sudden.
If I know Felix, he won't be happy with that lap, and he's backed off. And I'm surprised actually, his teammates with Brand. I'm very surprised he's actually managed to get him in the Merc, because Felix isn't a Merc fan, really. He's a Ferrari fan, a Vettel fan. So I'm very surprised he's in that car. But he has backed off, and probably looking for another lap later on, as I believe Ollie's actually on a lap as well. He's a 10th up in sector 1.
Indeed, he is currently on a 19.8. Definitely improvements possible there, as he's coming through turns 11 and 12 now, down to 6th gear, interestingly. I would have thought it would have been down to 7th, but he went down to 6th. And a simple 4th gear corner there. Coming up to the hairpin. A little bit of a lockup, although that might just be the game. and through the final corner. He is improving right now, coming up to the line, and it's going to be P8 with a 19.6. Very, very close, by the way. 8th through 12th, really, all within the tenth of each other.
Yeah, very close indeed. That, and Ollie's doing quite well in the Ferrari. He wasn't happy with the Ferrari last season, but this year he's in the Ferrari and he's got to put up with it for a season now and see how he can handle it, as he had issues with the setup with it. But yes, Felix did peel into the pits. He didn't do in a lap. As Brandon is actually finished off that then as we go on board. As Pedro has left the session, hopefully he can make it back as he can rejoin, since that glitch has been fixed. As here comes Brandon round the final corner. This is the time he can do. He did a 21-1 on mediums. Here he comes into the line, and that's a 19.4. Eighth pace there, but probably was expecting probably a low 18. Not low 18, a high 18. I was going to say, probably Matthew could do a low 18, but a high 18 probably from him, but he should be happy with that lap. 8th place, quicker than Ollie. And yeah, as these two were in the FP tier, very close. They were in podium. It was Ollie, Brandon, then me in the top three. Let's see what these two can do today in the race. Hopefully they don't come to blows.
Well, these two, because you're commentating, Jared.
Yes, definitely.
I'm sorry, I had to do that.
I can't be in here. I'm too slow. But it's right now. Then we're on board with Ryan. Then he's done a 26.2 in sector 1, not purple or anything. It's green. Good evening, Lee Kelly. It's good to see you. And let's see what Ryan can do then in the Williams, as he's currently 17th. His teammate Humongous in 11th with a 19.6, currently on soft tyres. So he must have done another lap, unless he's on another. If you can actually check that, Kevin, because he is the Williams ahead. See if he's on another lap.
He looks to be on a lap as well.
If you can keep an eye on it, see what time he does, and then let me know, because right now I'm on board Ryan. He is finishing his lap. Yeah, you're right. Let's see what you can do. Yeah, he got 7th.
19.2.
Wow, good lap there. But let's see what Ryan can do. See if he can match his teammate. He goes to the line. 14th quickest, 19.7. Bit off the pace there. But as I said, the grid's quite close, so only a little improvement could send you quite far up the grid. As we're going to go on board with Felix now, who's actually, again, invalidated. What is Felix doing today? He's bottling more than Sondra. As Gio then is finishing his flying lap in the Renault.
No one can bottle more than Sondre.
No, that's true. Well, no, actually, no. Lewis Curtis probably could. Lewis could match him, to be honest. Somehow he's second with an 18.8. And actually, a few more people have improved their laps. But let's see where Julia goes then. He's come to the line. 19.3. 9th quickest. Wow, 2,000 of a second off Patrick there in 8th place. Very close.
Yeah, it seems to be a common theme. It seems this grid in general. There's no real, like, you can't kind of say the top 5 are, like, way away, and then it's like 6th through 9th are close, and then 10th. Like, the whole grid is very gradually close together. When you look at it, like, the gaps are really small from one person to another, which means that if you're down in 12th, a small improvement could see you go up to 7th all of a sudden. So, looks like a really, really close grid.
Yeah, I've got to agree even with Matthew here. You know, he is the quickest out of these lot, I have to say. With, you know, 3-time champion, he has the pace to get 4th. But in qualifying, it looks very close. But Matthew just seems to have the advantage in the race. As Kevin Nicholas, BRT_D Tiger, is actually about to start his flying lap in the McLaren. Currently in 14th with 119.7 as he's coming down through the last corner.
Through the last quarter, he's going to start the lap now, crossing the line. DRS in activation, down to 5th gear, quite a nice gear to use there, as I have recently figured out. At least in quality it should be better than 4th. Just keep the traction now. Quite a few gear changes through here as he goes up to 5th quite early there. That's an interesting, I'm not sure if that was a mistake or not, as he goes a little wide as well. Starting sector 2, you want to take lots of curb on the exit there. A little bit finicky on some of these exits. Doesn't look like it's been the cleanest lap from him, as that was definitely not a lock-up. Thanks, Codemasters. coming up to finish Sector 2. We'll see how much he is up on his time. He's not up on his time. He's a little bit off it. 800s away. But maybe he thinks he can make it back in the final sector. He's still going for this. He's still got Hot Lap engaged in his ERS. Coming through the final few corners now. The hairpin, Exodus hairpin can be very awkward. You want to get the gears quite right, and especially that last corner going into it, as looks like he might have backed off at the end. Yeah.
He's backed off. We have 2 minutes remaining of the session. 2 Red Bulls and AlphaTauri. And he's tried to avoid Shea Fox there. And he...
Yeah, I think...
that's interesting.
I think Shea thought he was on a lap, so he was backing off. And who was it? What was Tiger's name again?
Nicholas.
Yeah, Nicholas, I think, wasn't sure if Shea was going to leave or give him the room, and so he went deep, and then it kind of left a little bit of a cluster there, as we can see now, about 5 cars going through. As Ollie retires.
Yeah, no, I don't. Is he retired or has he left the session? Because
he has retired in the pit lane.
Well, Thomas and Shea Fox have got a 5 grid place penalty. I thought I saw
look like
something.
It'll affect Shea Fox too much, but
it will affect Thomas, and he will be furious with that. And we'll probably get a report of what happened. But it looks like Thomas actually got front wing damage. So was there contact between him and Shea? Shea's off at sector 2, just starting sector 2 in the little chicane area. So that is interesting. Will we see an investigation of that after the race? As right now then, we're going to go on board with the racing point. Is Matthew the first one to finish a lap? It isn't, it's Rocco Welch. Rocco Welch then will begin his final lap then with 50 seconds remaining of the session. This is make or break for Rocco. Currently 5th. Can he find an improvement? Bit on the grass there through turn 1 and 2 in 5th gear, as Kevin said. It is apparently faster than quali. Out of turn 2, great exit there. Trying to stay the shortest route possible now. Coming into turn 3, goes into 2nd gear. Another lock-up on the right side. Also, Thomas has retired in the pit lane. So he's called it a day in qualifying. 3rd's the best place, but he'll lose 5 positions with that grid penalty. As Matthew's also retired, as still it's Rocco's time. He's 1400s up in Sector 1 right now. Not purple though. 1400s could possibly move him up a position with Pedro if he finds a bit more time through Sector 2 and 3. As he's coming out into the next, left and right. Sorry, right and left. And we'll be finishing Sector 2 then, where the DRS detection point is. And he's a 10th down in Sector 2. So he needs to find some more time out of Sector 3 then. DRS activated, trying to get as close to that Haas in front, who I believe is also on a flying lap. I believe that is Spreen. So we'll wait and see where he is. He's currently 13th with a 19.6.
You're right about that.
Rocco's gaining though quite quickly. Lewis is retired as well, so he isn't going to improve his lap time. And he's called it a day. Felix also retired, so Felix will be starting at the back of the grid. That's not like the Season 4 F1 champion. But here comes Rocco.
8th.
5th, 7,000th improvement. But no improvement on position. Only 5th place Rocco can get. And as you said, Spreen 8th. Good luck from him. But what about Brandon? Currently in 12th. He's apparently 10th and a half up on his flying lap. Could move him up a couple of positions actually. Could probably move him to 7th actually if he is up on that time.
And
as
Patrick
he's the final corner.
went to P6 there.
Good lap there, 19 flat.
19.0.
Yep, good lap there. As Matthews sets a new fast lap, 18.4. So Matthews got the pace. Brandon 7th with 19.190. So was Matthews sandbagging on his lap? As we go on board with Ryan then, who's finishing off his final lap. He's currently a 10th up on his time. Let's see what he can do and see what position he will be on the grid for the race. 13th place will be the best he can do. What about Julio then? In 19th, he's called it a day on his quali run and will be coming into the pits and staying in P11. But Matthew, yet again, taking pole position in qualifying. Can somebody challenge Matthew? Because right now, he is demolishing everyone in quali and the race. And this is what's great to see from the 3-time world champion from Matthew Order there, as he's got a lot of quick guys behind him. Pedro, Thomas and Lewis Curtis to challenge him into turn 1. Hopefully, there's no contact or collisions in the race, as we're waiting for someone to actually retire. Who is that?
That is Julio. It's
Julio.
Getting his car brought in, so once.
Oh, it's Julio, it's not Julio. Alright, okay. Just I'll be calling him Julio. Well, they will be announced later. as still hasn't been confirmed. Fortunately, you can't be commentator lead because you're actually racing F2. Here's the official grid. Matthew Order then in first place with 18.43 tenths, roughly ahead of Lewis. Thomas there third, but the grid positions are going to drop him lower down the grid. Pedro fourth, Rocco fifth, Patrick in sixth, Brandon Glover in seventh, better qualifying from him. Matthews 8th, Humongous 9th, Spreen 10th, Julio in 11th, Cameron Young there 12th with no practice, not bad lap, but he knows he can improve. Ryan in 13th, Ollie Favell in 14th, Nicholas 15th, Shea Fox 16th, also with 5 grid players penalty, so you're just behind Felix. So Felix then in 17th.
And I'm sure Felix would have rather to have got a lap in, because it's kind of left Bran more or less in the midfield, you would have to say, but it's left him kind of on his own. I'm sure he would have preferred his teammate to be up there. Of course, Felix not able to get a lap in for whatever reason, so it is unfortunate for him to be starting last, but he also gets fresh tyres and free choice of tyres, so could work out for him in that way.
Well, it could work out. You know, he's at the back of the grid, which, in my opinion, around here is probably the best place to be. Because if you're midfield and there's a crash at turn 1, you've got nowhere to go. You've got probably a car on your left, car on your right, car in front, and car behind. So, if you're at the back of the grid, you can take your time, and if there is a crash, you can wiggle your way through it. So, it will be very interesting what Felix does and how he does his strategy. But let's get on with formation lap, as everybody has picked their race strategies and fuel loads. And the formation lap should begin. As there we go then, Matthew then leads formation lap around Australia, and you can always see that Rocco ready for racing. As you can see him now already weaving as he was leaving his box. As we have 17 runners, that Shea Fox in 17th, and that 5 grid place plate put Thomas in 8th, just behind his teammate, which will be interesting there, what the Red Bull team do. If Thomas is quicker, of course, will Matthew let him through? But Matthew Alder there in first place then on the soft tyres. Let's see what the tyre strategies are further down the grid. As we're going to 11th there, Julio on medium tyres there, so he's probably going medium soft tyre strategy. It is a one-stop round here. Cameron on hards. He's the only one actually on the hard tyre. This is interesting. Has Cameron made a mistake on this tyre strategy? With Ryan in 13th and Ollie 14th on mediums. They are going medium soft as well. And then, surprisingly, Nicholas has gone soft tyres. What do you think of that, Kevin? On softs round here, if you're not in the top 10, do you think that's a smart move to do?
Of course, if it could be, if there's a safety car straight away, of course all the medium and hard runners would get kind of shafted by it. Him being on softs means that if that scenario did happen, he would be a little more well off. But if it doesn't, he's just gonna get overtaken by all the guys who are on the harder tire, because once, I'd say around like lap 5, like lap 4 or 5, the softs will start dropping off, and then the mediums will just kind of they won't really lose pace at all. So yeah, he's gonna have to have a good start if he wants that to work out.
Well done. And Felix then and Shea Fox at the back of the grid on mediums, as Matthew Alder then lines up the grid right now as everyone is starting to fill in, which is good to see no one got disqualified on the formation out, because it can ruin their tyre strategies. But who will win? Will it be Matthew? Will it be Lewis? Or will it be a surprise contender? As the light sequence will begin.
Rocco and Matthew, Rocco and Lewis, I'm saying, for top 3 before we start.
Okay then, well that's good then. As light sequence will begin very shortly. We've got a few people ghosting. As we're now down to 5 red lights for Season 9 F1 tier, round number 1 at Australia, and the lights are out, and it looks like Matthew's had an okay start. Lewis hasn't had a good start, and look at Rocco. Rocco's already challenging. Rocco into second place. Is he holding it though? Yes, he is. Rocco Welch in the second place. Matthew first. So the rest of the points I've got a 1-2 currently. You can see a round there of Pedro in third place already.
Oh, and there's round. Brandon Glover's gone round. I'm not sure if he was touched or not, but
safety car.
Someone, yeah, full safety car. Someone must have touched
Humongous
as
Thomas.
Joey. Yeah, Humongous around as well.
That is interesting.
And wait, was that a Red Bull?
Yeah, that is Thomas as well. That is Thomas. He's been hit by Julio. It looks humongous. So summer has kicked off, and probably will be. These two came to blows last season, and hopefully they don't, sell it out on track again this season. I'm very surprised there was that big crash there. As I said, a crash could happen. And look, Felix in 13th. No. Oh, no, I was wrong. He has front wing damage. So Felix does have damage. So Felix is a bit unlucky there. Same with Brand. So both Mercs then have wing damage. And Felix is the car ahead. He needs to pit. And Bran is going to have to suck it up.
This is that kind of thing I was talking about with Nicholas. He's on softs now. Early safety car. Won't affect his strategy at all, but the medium and hard runners, if they pit, like their strategies are kind of messed up if they do pit and messed up if they don't, because the soft runners kind of have an opportunity. No one looks to be using it though, so in that sense they're a little
Cameron's
lucky.
in. No, Cameron's in. From hard tyres, he's going mediums probably. He thinks maybe this tyre strategy isn't the safest to use. He needs probably quicker pace and then go medium soft or medium to be honest. So Cameron then in the pit lane.
Well, yeah, if you look at it this way though, I think he knew that a lot of people behind him were going to be pitting. A lot of people did get damaged on that first lap, so he's only going to lose like 2 places. I think he was 9th, but now he's on mediums instead of hards, and he can go medium to the end, so that could be a masterclass of the strategy there.
Oh, and Felix there gets ahead of Shea Fox at the pit lane as the Mercedes crew did a quick stop there, preparing his front wing, so that's good for Felix in the 13th, as Thomas there will just be ahead of Humongous, so he did get ahead of him eventually. And Brandon back of the grid in 17th. Will he be able to do a recovery drive? As Matthew is rushing the safety car already. Is he a mini Hamilton? As the safety car person said inside, Hamilton and Vettel rush him around. Well, have to wait and see, as I'm very surprised to actually see Rocco Walsh in 2nd place. He did well last season to get a couple decent points and where he finished in the standings, but into turn 1 he's actually amazed me, and it's basically Hamilton Bottas but in the pink Mercedes right now, the first 2.
And nice for me, I did say that this would be the top 3, so if those 3 pull away, who is in 4th, by the way? It's kind of Pedro, okay, because obviously his name won't show for me, because that's just how this game is. I did say that the top 3 right now would be the top 3 at the end, so hopefully this stays, and I end up being right in that way, but yeah, as you said, the 2 racing points kind of looking like the 2 Mercedes in real life, and might kind of be a common trend this season, because Rocco does have a lot of pace. He's not up to Matthew's standard, but he will be there to pick up the podiums when they're available to him. So I think we might be in for a dominant season from the racing points.
That's true, that, as people already trying to warm their tyres as much as they can. Hopefully nobody tries to overtake each other, because it'll do that glitch. You see the Mercedes there, Bran in the background trying to catch up with these lot, and the safety car will be in this lap then, since when everybody else catches up. So Bran there will be kicking himself, will be very disappointed, but he knows he can make his way back through the field. He's got the commitment, he has the pace to do it. But Matthew right now is sitting where he needs to sit, behind the safety car on the soft tyres, to then do soft medium, and basically then that is guaranteed for him and Rocco on the strategy. But as you said, you're very surprised front runners didn't pit, and I'm surprised Rocco didn't pit to try and get one up on Matthew.
Yeah, but if he did pit though, I mean, the whole grid was so bunched up, he would have lost a lot. And not many people, looking at it, not many people pit, only from 12th to 17th, and most of them had damage apart from Cameron. So him not pitting kind of keeps him in sync with most of the grid, so I think it would be better for him to stay out as he did, rather than pitting.
The safety car is in this lap line from race control. So it is confirmation there, as the Alfa Romeo of Lewis Curtis, they got a bit too close. Will we see Lewis Curtis be in that wall on the right hand side at turn 12? He has the bottle under his name. Last time he got one of the podiums he got here was, I believe, in season 6, if I remember correctly. He was in the Rich Energy Haas, which is no longer part of F1, it's just Haas now, it's no longer Rich Energy. So then Will Matthew go before the last... Well, will he go before the last corner? Will he go at the last corner? Will he go right at the lights? Because he's now backing off the grid. He can't back it off too much because he'll make his tyres too cool and probably lose the rear end. Oh, Rocco got very close. I don't know if there was contact there. But here goes Matthew then as he starts. Coming around the final corner, he has bolted and it's a good restock. Rocco's trying to keep up with him as we go green, green, green. And is there anyone making any overtakes behind as we go down this grid?
It looks like everyone's quite spread out. Very, actually. Spread out. Doesn't look like anyone really got a jump on anyone there. The one person who did get a decent restart though, Cameron Young, he is probably the closest to the car in front, which is Ollie Flavel. So we could see something happening between them soon. Of course, Cameron on fresh tyres as well. But generally everyone kind of kept their distance there.
That's true, but right now Julio is under threat by Ryan. Ryan there wiggling on the rear end of the car there, trying to keep some heat in the tyres, but we didn't get enough heat on him. But look at Nicholas right now on the softs. He started on the softs and look at the pace. He's already making a move around the outside. He's going then in the chicane. Ryan's going to brake later. Nicholas sees this, has to back off and tried to switch but couldn't make it work. Will he get another run though?
But here he comes back again. Nicholas, he's not using any overtake, it doesn't look like. Must have been using a bit of fuel to close up, but now through 11 tough. Looks like he's had actually a really bad exit. Ollie Flavel's going to be on the back of him now. Coming into 13, he might dive it. And no, he's gonna stick behind for now, but you can see how close he is now. Nicholas really not having a great time with it, as we can see. So, yeah, it looks like Nicholas is kind of struggling. Of course, he did go for the alternate strategy, starting outside of the top 10. Most people going for mediums. So, maybe that's coming back to bite him now.
Could be, as Cameron then is now starting to sit in the rear end of Ollie right now. He's doing what he needs to do, you know, try and score points for the first round. He didn't finish it here last 2 seasons ago, around Australia, when he was sitting from Matthew. So, let's see what he can do. Right now in 12th, trying to get 11th from Ollie, and Ollie's actually trying to get 10th. So right now Cameron could get a point today, as Matthew's already built up a lead of 1.4 seconds to his teammate of Rocco Walsh. Up ahead is Lewis Curtis, 6/10 off Rocco. So we can see a nice scrap for second place.
Yeah, probably Rocco would have preferred that his teammates stayed back a little bit to give him DRS once it gets activated, because now we'll be seeing, I think next lap it gets activated, Lewis is all over the back of Rocco Walsh, so the minute that he gets that DRS, I think he's going to be looking for a move into turn 1. As he really closes up now, Rocco not even getting a slipstream from his teammate at this point, really, 1.5 seconds back. Out of the final corner now, is he going to get a good enough exit? No DRS right now, it gets activated next lap. There it is, DRS enabled, but yeah, Lewis quite close, and once he gets DRS, I think we could be seeing a move.
Yeah, we'll see an overtake on 9th place, which is also going to be probably 8th place eventually as well.
Or maybe he won't need it though.
Around the outside.
He's going around the outside.
Has he got him? No, he's going to wait then. He's going to go on board with Nicholas then. As actually, we're going to go on board with Cameron Young around the outside, getting very aggressive now, Ollie, trying to make a move. Ollie's trying to close the door. He can do that. That is within the rules. Ollie does perfect defending when he needs to, and Ollie there holds 11th and keeps Cameron at bay. Cameron there has to work out a quicker strategy to get past Ollie, since he wants to try and get through the field as quick as possible, as he may not want to pit since he is on mediums now, probably to the end, if he can make them last. Now it's going to be a push to do that, but
and
could happen.
Look at the fight for second now, Jerry. You don't want to miss this.
Very
the three
close.
cars going for second place, so close together. Or at least they were going into 11. After 11, looks like they had maybe a bit of dirty air hindering them. Lewis once again has to stick behind. Matthew all the while is just pulling away from this train. 2.2 seconds.
Ollie shoved Cameron a bit off there, it looked like, and Cameron has just now lost the place to Felix, but he's coming back now, diving it to the inside. Felix gives him plenty of room, and there's a safety car. Someone's off. It is a Haas. It is Spreen. Into the final corner. He has done a Sondre Sohaug. Only Sondre could do that, but Spreen has now been added to the bottle list through the final corner, and this is great news for Thomas, Huey and Brandon. Peeling into the pits, going probably on a fresh set of mediums or hard tyres, depends what tyres they want to go on, to the end of the race.
Yeah, hard's the end. they can certainly go to the end. They lost quite a while around here, so yeah, could be seeing them come back right at the end. Thomas, Brandon, and Humongous. I was trying to remember his name. There we go.
Now this is interesting for Racing Point. Now, will they double stack? Because it's roughly near their pit window, roughly around about when the softs will start need to come into the pits, from about lap 7 to lap 10. But also with the safety car in play, they probably could go an extra couple of laps. So, do you think the Racing Point team will do the double stack and risk for Rocco, or do you think Rocco will have to wait and hold lap? What do you think on that situation?
There is a gap there. It looks like they're trying to increase it now. It's 3.5. At the safety car coming out, it was around 2 and 0.2, so...
You can stick with the delta. Come on, Rocco.
As he comes back within...
I was going to say, I didn't know if that was a little bit of cheating there from the Racing Points, but they kept it under control there. Gap now 2.9, back to what it was.
It looks like they are trying to push it. He is going to come into the pit, so they are going to double stack. Lewis could have an opportunity now to get past them.
Thing is, he's at the bottom end of the pits as well, so this is actually great for him. And Matthew could actually get held up by the Renault team, if I'm correct. Renault actually behind.
It'd be interesting to see who stays out now. Julio, Ryan, and Ollie all staying out. Everyone else pretty much pitting. Of course, Thomas, Humongous, and Brandon pit last lap. So pretty much everyone's pit already.
Yep, Lewis is going to be second. Net second. Pedro right behind him with Patrick as well. So
and Faz, he's been passed by so... Matthews has got past him, Patrick's got past him, Pedro and Lewis. So 4 positions lost in that pit stop.
Yeah, Rockaway in the 9th. Won't be happy with that, but he knew.
As Thomas is trying to make some places there, he just slotted into 11th. Felix just behind him.
I gotta say, that's a good recovery there from him after the incident he had at turn 1. He's on the hard tight, he is going to the end. And just look, everyone is on hard, except the McLaren. Again, Nicholas is going softs. Is he praying for another safety car or a turn of events of possible rain or something like that? Because there is a bit of cloud, but it is not wet weather clouds. It's just basically normal clouds in a regular day. So I wonder what the strategy is from the McLaren team right now.
Yeah, that is quite interesting. Another thing I was going to point out, the top 3, like I didn't actually notice he was on softs, but I was going to say and like commend Nicholas for starting on the softs for a situation like this to happen. If he pit for hards, it would have been perfect, because then it would have shown that starting on mediums wasn't the right option if a safety car came out. But regardless, the top 3 obviously have to pit again. Everyone else doesn't. So they're going to have to really come back at the end of this race as the safety car's in this lap.
That's very quick there. And look at Julio. He is nailing how to do a safety car there. Bunching the field so close where there's almost contact, which he is allowed to do. And people don't like this where some people do this, but it is within the rules.
And I'm just going to mention before we start, Matthew could get held up by these guys, and it could allow Lewis to maybe have a look.
Well, here goes Julio. He's already gone, so Julio's already gone. Ryan has had a shocking restart, but look at Matthew then, already challenging Ollie Favell. Could he make a move into turn 1? Ollie there is defending, that is his move. Will he make another? No, he doesn't, but he holds line, moves in front, back into the racing line. Matthew sees this, brakes early. Will he be able to get a move done? He's using his ERS, using all the battery, all the fuel. Which tyres are going to work better, hard or medium? It looks like it's going to be the hard tyre, because he's trying to swing it around the outside. Gets a bit of his own medicine. Hopefully this ends.
So close there, but he can't do it. Matthew's going to have to stick behind. The mediums must have some sort of grip left, as you saw Matthew almost got it despite contact.
Hang on. What's happened to Cameron? He's got front wing damage. There's something gone off again. He's had more bad luck.
Nicholas is... Oh no, he's pit actually, that's why.
And Shea Fox is out. Was it Shea Fox? Did Shea Fox cause an incident with him? Probably we'll see that at an investigation, what happened to Cameron. But right now, though, back on board with Matthew. Shea Fox did maneuver the tyre as well, it looks like. Oh, he actually just binned it. But Cameron won't be happy with his front wing damage, and he will be furious under that helmet. There's more bad luck at Australia. But he could be lucky and get another safety car and try and fight his way through the grid. But right now, though, Ollie Favell starting to actually pull away from Matthew and slowly catch up with Ryan. Ollie did win in here in FP. Will he somehow manage to win it in F1?
Looks like Julio's doing quite a good job. Of course, his teammate only down in 6th, so maybe there might be team orders in play here. Julio maybe once Matthew and Lewis and all get up behind him, he will be able to hold them up. He's going to be going probably around lap 18 is the pit stop window for these tyres to go into softs. So maybe we could see Julio try to help out his teammate to try and take at least a provisional P2, as current P2 is Lewis, just behind Matthew, who's still getting held up by Ollie Flavel.
Well, yeah, but right now the Renault team are looking very hungry for a constructors title this season. Right now, as you said, one of them's 1st, one of them's 6th. You know, look where Rocco and Matthew are in compared to team. One's 4th, one's 9th. So right now, the Renaults, if Matthew he gets another easy championship, which I don't think he will, I think it'll be a bit close this season. But I think the constructors, I think it's going to be between Race Point and Renault, and possibly Alfa Romeo if they can sort their issues out. But right now, Matthew stuck behind Ollie, and Lewis and Pedro are slowly catching up.
Indeed they are, and Patrick, well, really quite a few people, like down to Thomas, you can't really count them out because it's all a really big train. They're all within a second of each other. Felix just outside the DRS range of Thomas, so you can't really count any of them out. Of course, penalties, like one penalty for Patrick could see him drop to 9th and potentially 10th.
Could probably happen that as well, but right now Ollie still holding his own right now, but Matthew isn't using any ERS. Ollie is using a little bit just to keep ahead of him. So Matthew is being smart, relaxing, taking his time. He knows he's still got a very high chance, basically 99.9% chance of winning the race with this amount of ERS and probably fuel he's got left. Bit of a lock up, probably losing a bit of time, but he knows these guys ahead, their tyres are going to fall off. The chances of them making them to the end are slim, but it's still possible. So he can take his time. He ain't under threat by Lewis. Lewis actually ain't closing actually that much, which we thought he would. But as Matthews there, picks up a 3-second time penalty. So there gets a average exit there, but again, he's holding it. Let's see how much Matthew... Ooh, Matthew, was that a little mistake there from him? Lewis has actually reeled him in. Maybe this
and
time
it looks like Matthew, in a similar vein, though, is reading in Ollie, who doesn't have DRS anymore. He's going to go down the inside for 3rd place, and it looks like he might have this moved on. He does before the corner, so Matthew finally gets past him after getting held up for a little bit. The safety car didn't help out with that, the second one. So yeah, Ollie gets past us. Now Lewis is going to go down the inside in turn 3.
Oh,
and
that
he
was
might
very
not
late.
He doesn't. A bit of contact.
Yeah, that was a bit late there from Lewis, but he can do that big dive, you know, but he needs to make sure there's no contact and make his braking point. If that ended in a crash, he would have been at fault. As right now, though, Pedro is seeing this, and he could fancy chances taking a net second here from Lewis. And as I said, Renault are looking very good to challenge the Race Point team for the constructors. Is Cameron's on soft tyres? That is interesting. Why is he on... Has he run out of mediums? As we see Ryan now, actually, if it will let me select him, he is actually catching up with Julio. Felix picks up a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, I just saw, though, Ryan... he probably could have went for a move into 13, but he kind of backed off right at the end, so maybe he knows that if he goes for a move, he'll get passed by Matthew, and it'll allow Ollie to catch up as well. So maybe he's trying to play a bit of a strategic game as Julio goes into the pits on lap 12.
That's interesting then. So maybe the mediums were just completely through and he wants to go on another fresh set of mediums. Oh, this may be an interesting technique. He's gone hard, so he may be praying for another safety car.
There's no way those mediums were bad. They were only 12 laps old. You can take them probably
Lewis,
like 20 at a stretch, but
he's ahead of Ollie, and that's how you make a move around the outside there out of turn 3. Good move there from Lewis, and he needs to do that ASAP. And I'm still surprised he hasn't bottled
Ollie
right
gets
now.
a pen as well.
Ollie
for good measure on the exit.
Right now, though, he's got a lot of cars. He's basically the train from Hogwarts. He is holding up a train right now. He is costing everybody time on those mediums.
Yeah, you can see how much of a train if you go on board with Tom. You can see how close, like you can see 6 cars ahead of him easily going through some of these corners. So
oh, hang on a minute,
get a representation of how close they are.
Under threat by Humongous right now. Will Humongous actually be able to make
Lewis just got repassed by Ollie Flavel coming out of turn 12, so Lewis must have made some sort of mistake there.
As Cameron picking up a 3-second time penalty there on his time. Ryan will probably get passed soon by Matthew.
Oh, and that is a lovely shot. If you go TV pod with Ollie, you can see so many cars behind him. But all these cars will want to get past him because Ollie is just kind of like allowing Matthew to get ahead. Like Matthew only has Ryan to contend with. Once he gets past him, of course, he'll be in first. He won't get caught by Ryan, and then everyone's going to have to pass Ryan after they get past Ollie. So yellow flags in sector 3. That's
Cameron. He's lost
Cameron Young.
Out of turn 14. Matthew still hasn't been able to make a move yet. Ollie though, yeah, he's right. Yeah, he's just losing time. 2.5 seconds the gap is right now. But look how well, Jesus. If Felix actually starts closing up, there'll be a train all the way from 12th. And as I think Cameron's going to give up. Yep, he's had enough for today. Oh, hang on a minute. I see a right. Williams, that's a rear tyre. Ryan's out. VSC. And Cameron has retired at the wrong time. If that was a safety car, that would have been great for Cameron. But it's a VSC. And Ryan then out of the race. And that is a shame for the Williams team. As right now, the only person who's going to score points for them is Humongous. Will anyone pit under this VSC actually? Very interesting. Will Ollie
I think, he's going to come in.
That has opened the door now for Lewis to get some clean air, but he isn't safe. Pedro, Patrick, Matthews, Rocco, Thomas, and Felix possibly could be in striking distance not for too long, as we're still waiting for the VSC to go away so we can go back to racing. As Cameron then has left the session, so he's had enough as he retired, and it is a shame there for Cameron. He's more bad luck at Australia. DRS has been nailed, so we're back to green flag racing. Lewis Kurtz there gets an alright start, but look at the racing point. Rocco in a Red Bull sandwich right now, and that in a nice position to be, especially when the fastest Red Bull is right behind you. That is Thomas there. Thomas is possibly looking to challenge Rocco Welch there to make an easy move, and Thomas is coming back to score points. It looks like he wants the podium position. He had a 5-grid placement in quali, he had contact with Huey, and right now there he is challenging Rocco, the other racing point, for some decent points into the first race. As Felix has dropped again, 2.3 seconds off Thomas right now on hards. Felix isn't having a good day in the office today. He's really struggling on pace. But hang on, I'll tell you someone who is struggling is Pedro. He is left the session and he will be furious. He needs to get back ASAP because you can rejoin, and that'll be upsetting for him as he was looking for podium position. But guess who's put that in the podium position? It is Patrick. Patch then into third place, 1.6 seconds off Lewis Curtis, but he now has to do an ollie and defend for his life.
Yeah, but not so much though, because his tyres are going to be in much better shape compared to Ollie's. Of course, they were Ollie's tyres around like 13, 14 laps sold when he pit. So yeah, he's going to have an easier time of it. He's going to want to catch back up to Lewis at least to get some DRS from him. Lewis is going to want to catch up to Matthew, but we've seen from the last 3 seasons that catching up to Matthew isn't an easy task at all. So he's really going to have to push if he wants to do that, as Ryan leaves the session after his unfortunate retirement.
Julio picking up 3 second time penalty, and that's a shame for him. But right now, it is a shame for Rocco because he is under a lot of pressure right now from the Red Bull driver of Thomas. The Red Bull team also could be a contender for the constructors. I shouldn't count them out. They've got 2 quick drivers right now. Matthew's in 4th. Thomason's in probably will be 5th. Matthew will still be 1st, and Rest Point will still be leading the constructor, I believe, on the first round. But don't count out Red Bull because right now Matthews, Thomas are literally hounding one of the racing points. And yes, Tom, the reason why Rocco's down here because he double stacked on the safety car when the second safety car came out, when the Matthew and Rocco peeled into the pits.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens with safety cars sometimes. When you're close together, one person will come off much better compared to their teammate, as that's exactly what has happened. Unfortunately, double stacking hasn't really been reviewed. They've kept the same one for ages. I'm sure if that was real life, I think Rocco would have been perfectly fine, but of course the game just not there.
Yeah, unfortunately it hasn't been as good for him, unfortunately, on the safety car. But as I said earlier, if I was him, he should have pit under the first safety car, because then he wouldn't have, if he was on hards, or because everybody else is, he wouldn't have had to pit. Then he would have been ahead of Matthew, and he could have pulled away from Julio and all them lot, possibly, because one, he'd be in front after the pits, and two,
that is true. I mean, Ollie did hold up Matthew for quite a while, but it is kind of ifs and
buts.
If that happened,
yeah.
You know, you can't predict everything, but yeah, obviously in hindsight it would have been better for Rockets pit than the first one.
But it is what it is, and right now then, as we go on board Patrick, he's now starting to pull away from the Red Bull, 7/10, but he's closing on Lewis, 2 seconds now. The gap is actually, not that he's losing, I can't really tell, because the gap now to Lewis and Matthew is grown now to 3 seconds. So it's an easy day in the office for Matthew yet again. Looks like he's going to take another win, but right now, it looks like Brand's actually possibly going to make a move. Look how close he is now to the Williams. He's trying to make a move left, right, and centre, but he's going around the outside. Huey Mungus makes good defending there. He's doing something what Brand can't do. Defend. You know, right now, is Huey Mungus there is doing brilliant right now, and holding 8th from Brand, and Brand is usually quite determined to get past someone. He'll just send it, but Brand there in 9th can't get past the Williams right now. As Pedro has rejoined, and oh, that's a bad time for him. He's 10th, 8.2 seconds off. He needs a safety car, or he needs some strong pace to close back up with the others.
Indeed he will, of course. Almost 9 seconds now. By the time he takes control of his car, he'll probably be 9.5 or something behind. So yeah, he's going to have a lot of work as well. He's got Ollie breathing down his neck, and not anymore because he's got passes the AI. And now his teammate of Julio is going to get past him, so he's going to be pretty much last when he rejoins, as he does now.
Well, I'll tell you someone who is definitely breathing on his neck right now is on Matthews. It's Rocco. Rocco was 2/10 at the end of Sec 2 right on him, but then he just tried to make a move and it's backed off his line, but that's closing up Thomas. So right now, this train, what Patrick's managing to hold, is very good because he's in 3rd place, holding his own, but he's getting caught. 3/10. So everyone's actually catching each other in different parts of the track and then getting held up. As I understand, 11th and 12th now. Only probably scraping for points unless there's a safety car or something. Because then the guys on the hards may decide to pit to go mediums in case the others go medium tyres to try and be quicker. But it is a hard track to pass around here at Australia, and right now, hardly any overtakes at the moment.
Yeah, it's just trying to close up that last little bit. When the person in front of you has DRS, it's just not easy. DRS really the main way that you close up and make overtakes, especially when the person in front of you doesn't have slipstream. It makes it that little bit easier, which is kind of why Matthews is really closing up to Patrick. Patrick 2.5 seconds off the guy in front, almost 3 actually. 2.7 seconds is the gap, so might be seeing a battle between them two soon, especially given Matthews has so much more ERS as well. He's got almost double than Patrick. So if they fight, then it could actually allow Rocco and Thomas to maybe get involved. Then we could have some fights, but right now, not happening.
Yeah, nothing happening right now. Maybe they're trying to save their tyre life, not want to push yet, not want to rush into things, because that can easily bring up your tyre life. But I'll tell you who is rushing. It is, if it will let me select him, it's fixing Humongous in 8th and 7th. And Humongous stays behind again, but they were side by side apparently at one point. And why is he weaving?
He's weaving, yeah. Maybe he thinks that Felix wasn't as fair as he could have been. Maybe he's a little unhappy there, but they continue. Felix ahead, and of course Brandon just behind these two. Maybe Felix is trying to back Hugh into his teammate to try and allow him to get an overtake. They are in a position to do it, so
we'll get a nice camera angle there. But even still, you know, there's no need to weave, because if he's done something wrong and you think it probably penalised, report it. No, don't. I would say cry and whinge, but I don't know. Huey then will be trying to get past Felix then very soon. He looks quicker, as he did on last lap, but side by side apparently. So let's see what he can do. Or has he got some damage or something what we don't know of? Ooh, and if it will let me select him. Is he close enough, Matthews? He's 2
No.
tenths. Not right now.
He did close up, but not enough to make an overtake, unfortunately. As Rocco, it looks like kind of close up there. Rocco and Thomas. Just getting a little bit closer. That kind of group of cars seems to be getting brought just a little closer together every lap, as Matthews gets every bit closer to Patrick now. Gap 3 tenths, a bit of slipstream and DRS out of turn 12. Could see a move there. Of course, he's going to get a bit of slipstream at least through.
Oh, I'm going to cut you off. Oh no! Oh, Hughes round! I think he got hit by Bran by the rear end because he spun it and he's into the wall. And he's retired on fucking track.
Well,
seriously?
Don't want to. Yeah, maybe don't want to say too much, but obviously you should have done that in the pit lane.
Mardy ass. That's all I'm going to say. Mardy ass. So we're going back on board with Phoenix and Bran. Sorry about that, but yeah. Matthews then fighting up for third place right now as he's trying to catch up Patrick. Yeah, he's close enough, but he hasn't got enough ERS. He's not using his ERS at the points he needs to. Oh, he is now.
Looks like Brandon's closing up to his teammate now. After Joey's either spin or whatever happened there, regardless, Brandon he's in DRS range. He's not using overtake on the second straight. Felix has pretty much no ERS to use. He's going to close up now. It looks like Felix is, well, I mean, he's very vulnerable. He has no one to slipstream off or anything, so could be seeing a fight between the two Mercs.
That is correct.
Oh, and I've just noticed there, Patrick, very close to losing all his ERS. He's only got 13%. Whereas everyone else, it's kind of like goes up, with Matthews having around 40, then Rocco's about 50, and then Thomas behind that has pretty much a full battery, you can say. So as you go back, the ERS is just kind of go up and up and up. So maybe we could. I mean, it looks like a recipe for overtakes, but no one's able to make them.
Yeah, well, that DRS isn't helping.
And again, as well, no one's really using the overtake button as much. Like, I'm sure Thomas could make an overtake on Rocco if he uses his ERS, but he's not using it.
Yeah, Rocco then in fourth got closed up, but DRS, you know, I think DRS is an issue with that. You know, it's meant to be able to make more overtake, but when you're in a train with people with DRS, it just doesn't do, it does nothing, because everyone's at that speed already. You know, that speed where DRS would be OP, but it's not doing anything right now, and it's annoying Rocco. Oh,
just noticed Felix and Bran. It looks like Bran tried to go for a move on his teammate, but it looks like he's come off worse as he's now 6 tenths behind. I did see them switching positions momentarily there through turn 11, 10 and 11. So looks like the Mercs are fighting for a position now.
Mercs are fighting. Well, we might actually see a fight then, actually, because on lap 25, 29, not that many laps remaining of the race. We'll see another fight probably for Ollie's position in ninth. Ollie could actually lose a point right now. He's under threat by both Reynolds. So if Reynolds actually decide for one of them to attack and then the other, could see some good racing. So right now then, we see them in the background. Bran still stays behind, but Thomas isn't close enough. No one is close enough to make a move. What's going on? What about Pedro then? Is he close enough? 4/10 off Ollie.
No, he's not. Julio also just kind of sitting behind. Like everyone, I mean, we said at the start that overtaking was difficult, but FP saw more overtaking than this, to be fair. Of course, the different engines can make a difference to that, but right now no one's able to just close up that last little bit that they need. And Rocco's also fell a little bit more off the two in front of him. Gap now at 5/10. So was that a little bit of a mistake from Matthews there? And the hairpin doesn't look like he had as good a run as Rocco did, but you can see now, like out of the hairpin, like Matthews is gone. He must use some ERS, but he doesn't really have enough to get past Patrick here. He's going to have to rely too much on DRS, and it's not going to work for him as he goes under 6% in the ERS. Now Thomas is... oh, jeez, Thomas is... he's got almost 100%. He's at 97.
I think he's just taking his time because he knows soon as he'll use it, he will be able to get past. Because look at Matthews, he's got 15%, and he's using it every corner, which you not really should do because you're going to be slower overall. You should be using it when you're able to make an overtake or you're trying to pull away. You know, not every corner you use it because you're going to be slow. And right now, it isn't helping him because he's gaining at wrong places, and then at DRS he's losing time. So Matthews needs to figure that out before the end of the race, or the highest he's going to get is a 4th place.
Yeah, and of course penalties could play into it as well. I saw one of these guys get a pen, but I forget who, unfortunately. So for what we know, this is the order they're going to finish in. And Rocco's had a bad final corner. Finally, we're going to see some overtaking. Thomas, out of the final corner, gets a much better run, and he's going to go up into 5th. Of course, didn't have to use any ERS for that, so he's still going to have pretty much a full battery. But now he's going to be able to use it on Matthews, who has pretty much nothing. So now we could see a bit of a charge from Thomas.
Oh, Bottle Rocco, is that his new name? Is he the Valtteri Bottas of the Racing Point team with Matthew? Right now, he's doing an Alex Albon. He is in 6th place. Not really helping himself. You know, he hasn't really got the pace on the hards, and he's showing it. He's really struggling right now. And as I said, this could be the key for the constructor battle instead of the driver battle this season. As Lewis Curtis, 4.1 seconds off Matthew, then 5.7 seconds off him is Patrick, who's getting hounded now by both Red Bulls. Will there be team orders?
Yeah, that is actually the thing I didn't really think about. Of course, Thomas does have a lot more ERS to play around with, so if they did do a switch, he probably could go through for a P3.
Let's see then.
As Julio gets another penalty there. He's down in 11th. As actually Pedro... Did we miss an overtake? Pedro getting past Julio?
No. Pedro was already in that position. He never got passed by Julio. But he actually...
No, he did. Because remember, just before he rejoined, he was behind the two.
That was Ollie. I'm positive that was Ollie.
No, it wasn't, because Ollie was always ahead. So I think we did actually miss an overtake there.
Oh. Okay,
and
well...
Pedro seems to actually be on the move, to be fair. Out of turn 2, he's going to be activating DRS. He is closing up to Ollie.
No, he had a bad exit out of turn 2. Not close enough at all. If he had a better exit out of turn 2, possibly move around the outside, but that's it round here. You know, you get all the slipstreams down to turn 1. You're getting all that speed. You've got to brake perfect at get an excellent run out of turn 2, you know, but right now it isn't working. Nicholas, that's new fastest lap, 21.8. His favourite tyre of choice
and
has
he's
been
really
softs.
closing up now, coming up to turns 9 and 10, I think.
He's got the move.
Around the outside, he's going to have the inside for the next corner.
Well, he gives him space,
inside going through all the way, but he's not going to be able to make it work, as he does have more ERS to use than Ollie. Through turns 11 and 12 now, he takes it quite well. So does Ollie, though, and it looks like Ollie's going to have just a little bit more speed through the exit of that corner, as also Julio closes up to both of them. So we could see a fight here. I mean, more action seems to be happening here than the fight for P3, as I have been keeping an eye on it, as I'm sure you have as well, but nothing's really happening there at all.
Yep, still no change of positions. We're on lap 28, so we've got 2 laps left of this race, so let's see what can happen. As we already know, they've confirmed first and second place. We don't need to repeat that, but now Pedro going around the outside into turn 1. Will this end in tears? Ollie tries to defend, but oh no, Pedro doesn't have a good start out of turn 2, but he's still there. He's probably going to go for it now around the outside. Julio's not that far behind, but here comes Pedro. He's turning in, and they're going side by side. Oh, a bit of contact there. Bit of wheel banging.
Ollie gets up on the grass as well. It's not going to help him out in the exit, and Pedro is going to be able to go through. Julio now gets a much better exit coming into turn 6, I think it is, and he's not going to be able to make a move as his teammate did. He did close up quite a bit. Of course, he has pretty much no ERS to use, as Pedro has the most out of these 3, so he shouldn't be being overtaken anytime soon, as we're on lap 28 out of 29. Matthew will be crossing the line now to start his final lap of the race that really he's completely dominated from the front, getting a little bit further ahead of Lewis as we've gone through. Patrick now, final lap of this race. Thomas as well, he has plenty of ERS to use. He's going to be trying to close up to these guys, but he just hasn't had a great exit, as neither has Matthews, and it's going to be the same case as every other lap we've watched these guys. No one's able to make an overtake, as Matthews gets really close to the gearbox of Patrick, but it's not going to work out for him.
Yeah, same with the scenario with the Mercs. Brands still can't get close enough, so even when they're on their own, DRS at the moment just doesn't look like to work. So maybe F1 remove the DRS and just make it slipstream OP, you know. I think that's the way to go. Also make the car smaller. But Ollie then still holding the position, so I think only one runner is going to score points. But we are going to go on board with the 3-time champion, Mr. Matthew Older, currently in the lead. Will he get a massive pen by corner cuts? I don't think he will, because he's been Mr. Consistent, Mr. Dominant, and Mr. 3-time champion. Matthew Older then, round the final corner, looks like he's going to start his season with a bang, with a win. First round, and that's what he needs to do to start off his championship in Season 9. He takes the win on track, but will penalty change? I don't think he got any, and he didn't. Lewis Curtis takes second then, and Lewis didn't get penalties either, and good job for him. And here comes Patrick.
And you can see Patrick's quite happy about his P3. He comes across the line as Rocco Walsh bumps himself up into P4.
But
so
I've got to say,
I guess he knew the penalties was a factor, so he wasn't really pushing as much. Of course, that mistake may have cost him a P3. It looks like Patrick had at least a pen. He closed up 1.3 seconds behind Patrick, so maybe without that mistake he might have been able to grab that third.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. If I remember correctly, there was a 5-second penalty given to Thomas at the start. Wasn't because of a jump start, wasn't because of a corner cut. He got that when Humongous and him went round. Now, I don't know who's at fault with that, who might get penalties, but may that possibly removed could jump him up. We don't know, only time will tell. As we're going to go down to the podium celebrations, Thomas then will be happy with 5th, and I think he should get driver of the day. And he doesn't, Felix, which I'm surprised, to be honest.
Well, he did start last, and he got like 7th, I think, so...
Yeah, but even still, you know, Thomas started 7th with a 5-grid place penalty, spun, went to the back of the grid and came back. But the man at the top set this time in the racing point is Matthew Older. Will he stay in the team the whole season and possibly next season and rock up? Only time will tell, with Lewis Curtis in 2nd place and Patrick takes 3rd. And he will be happy with that to kick off the season, Mr. Matthew Older, and looking for 4th time champion this season.
Yeah, starting the season exactly the way that he needs to kick off that championship campaign. Fourth in a row, of course, he's going for.
Here is the official results. Matthew Oliver then takes the win. Lewis Curtis second, Patrick third, Rocco in fourth, Thomas in fifth. Good result for him after a lot of incidents he had and the 5 grid placement he got. Matthews in sixth, Brandon stayed in seventh, Felix in eighth, Oliver ninth, Pedro 10th, Julio then in 11th, Nicholas in 12th. Stopped anyone getting the fast start. Humongous 13th, Ryan 14th, Cameron Young 15th, Shea Fox in 16th, and Spreen there, unlucky, had that crash on the final corner in 17th. Well then, Kevin, if you can quickly invite the guys to the party, and then we'll kick it off.
Okay, how does this work if it's DMs then?
Just add them to the chat, and then they should be...
Does it, like, make a new one?
Well, even if it does, we're in the same party, so it'll add that to that party, if you get me.
So, Matthew... Matthew, Lewis and Patrick. What's Lewis's PSN?
Lewis
numbers.
_ 1101, I believe.
Doesn't look to be the case.
Alright, well, I'll try and do that right now, I don't fear. But Matthew. Yeah, add Matthew in that, and then I'll get Lewis. There we go, Lewis has been invited. Well, Matthew is here then, and we will start off with Matthew. Well then, Matthew, if you can hear me. Alright, well, just making sure. Well then, 3-time world champion. You know, it looks like 4th is on the cards. But I've got to say, you know, dominant win, consistent win, and great win overall. You know, you kept under control, as the dogs have now started, you know, to grant your applause, you know, with the trophy as well. But I've got to say, great race. And how do you think it went for you? Do you think you can keep this momentum all season long?
Well, that's going to depend on Monaco. If I get past that with this momentum, then yeah, I think you'll go into the end of the season.
That's good then. With the race then today, do you think if Thomas didn't have that grid place penalty, do you think he could challenge you a little bit more if the safety cars didn't come into play, or do you think the safety cars today helped you out with this win?
Safety cars did not help me out with the win. It's hard to tell because, well, you never know what might have happened to Thomas because Rocco had a really amazing start. I don't know about Thomas's, but that could have changed the entire race if Rocco was one place back, because would have started further back, and then Thomas might have jumped the others as well. It's very hard to tell whether he would have been involved in it. Safety cars has not helped me at all, because I had a 4-second gap, which was higher than I ever built until the last lap after them. So yeah, and also messed up Rocco as well. He got held in the pits a lot, especially with me getting held by Lewis as well.
Well, yeah, we did see that, and I've got to say, Ruck had an astonishing start. I couldn't believe it. Straight away in the second place in the turn one, and then Pedro in the third. So it was a great start from him, and then all chaos happened behind with Humongous, Thomas, and Bran. But yeah, a disappointing day for them lot. But with Rocco, do you think it would have been a better option for him today, for the constructors' point of view, that if he pitted on the first safety car and went on hards? Because with that double stack, it did cost you time, and in the end, he did get fourth. No, you think not?
No, I don't. I think that's just crazy to think about that. Lap 1, Haas were not making it. I granted I'm pushing the hardest because like going faster means you have more tyre wear. Like Felix and Brand were battling loads and they had like 5% less wear than me. I was in the 60s while Felix was on 55 and Brand was on like 58, and I was further on the track. But so I definitely think he would have gotten a puncture if he pitted, because even with the 2 safety cars, he would have got much less wear, but that's a lot of work on the hards added still.
Okay then, well, have you got any questions to ask him, Kevin?
Just congratulations on the win. No real questions there.
Okay then, well, congratulations again. I will ask the final question because it's Baku next week. Where do you feel you're going to be there? Because we've seen you there before, you've won it. Do you think you could win again?
Well, I don't really know what other people would be like around there. I did do AOR there recently, so I do have a good setup for that. But AOR didn't go the smoothest, but I don't think I'll be pushing as much, so hopefully I won't. Hopefully I'll avoid the wing damage this time. I'll just be aiming for a podium. Just want to keep the podium streak going over from last season.
Okay then, well that's good to see, and hopefully we see you on the podium again, and congratulations on your win and a good way to start off your season.
Yes.
Well we now jump over to the bottle of the year, you know, Mr. Lewis Curtis. Well then, Lewis, congratulations on your second place, and a very good result in the end. At the start you weren't second, I believe you were like fourth and then went to third. Were you surprised with this podium and the way the race went today, or do you think this was always part of the plan?
Well, my main part of the plan was to get a podium because I knew I had the pace for my qualifying, so I didn't know about my race pace. I was expecting to bottle because I am known for bottling, but I did have a bad start, lost like 2 places before turn 1, got one of them back around turn 2, and then just sat behind, and then the safety car happened, which brought me back up into P2, and basically just sat there for the whole race, really.
Well, yeah, we saw you had some nice overtakes on some guys today, and good race pace from you and keeping it consistent. Do you think, if, as I asked Matthew, the safety cars, do you think the safety cars helped you with today, or do you think they affected you, that you couldn't actually challenge Matthew at one point?
Probably helped me out more because I got past Rocco, and then I did have a chance, like say within 3 seconds of Matthew, but I had lost it and nearly crashed out and got a 3-second penalty. But luckily saved it, so safety cars probably helped me more than anything.
Alright. Well then, this actually, I think 2 seasons ago you got a podium here as well, and it was the start of the season. The start of the season again, you got a podium. Do you think you could be an actual contender this season against Matthew, or do you think you're going to have a bit more consistency and less bottles, as you say you are the bottler of this tier? Do you think you could challenge Matthew this year?
Most definitely not. But we shall try.
Well, I like your honesty. But Kevin, have you got any questions to ask Lewis?
Again, not really, no.
Okay. Well, I'll ask you the quick final question. It is Baku next week. Where do you feel you're going to be there? Do you think you could get a podium, or a crash in the wall at Castle, or a possible win?
You'll be seeing me on the side of a Castle section corner just watching. That's the most likely spot to find me.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen, and hopefully you can have a good result. Because we would like to see you actually fighting, hopefully, for a title this year. But same with Cameron Young as well. Your teammate didn't have a good result there, and he's had a bit of contact with Bran. And that's actually another question I'm going to ask. Do you think you could challenge the constructors with your team?
Well, with my current teammate right now, I do not believe that is possible. He seems to bottle too much.
I wasn't expecting that answer, to be honest. Yeah, well, at least you're honest. And, well, good result again, getting second place. Hopefully you keep that up for next round. Hopefully it's a win this time. You beat Matthew. You know, I'll give you an extra 20 quid. But, good result from both drivers
You're
today.
paying him?
Yeah.
You're
Good
paying
result.
him regardless if he beats Matthew or not. He gets an extra 20 if he does beat him. Okay.
No, I'll give you that. But no,
Well,
great
Lewis
race from
making
both.
money.
A great race from,
Congratulations.
yeah, it's the best way to make money, you know. But good race from both drivers today, and unfortunately Patrick can't make it for the interview, but good result from him as well, and great race for the guys who stayed and actually finished the race, even with some bad results. But if you want to see some more content, join us tomorrow at 4:30 UK time for F2 and F3 with some surprising commentators. Since Lance unfortunately won't do F2 anymore since he's officially left, since he's got personal stuff to sort out, which is understandable, and F3 may be a new commentator, which you won't expect. But hope you guys have a nice day. See you guys next time, and goodbye for now.